Well, welcome to this week's edition of Phoenix News, exclusively here on Phoenix TV. And a busy weekend it was last weekend for the Manchester Phoenix. 2 games, both of which were at home, and we had excellent turnouts with the crowds. I think everyone can see that the ticket promotions that we've been doing recently are adding some more new faces to the throng that come and watch the Phoenix on a weekend. And it's good to see more new faces coming out. And the reaction we've had in the office this week from a lot of those new faces is just marvellous for us. We've had a number of emails and phone calls from people saying how much they enjoyed the hockey, even though they didn't really understand what was going on the ice. The people that are new to the game are enjoying it. They love the atmosphere, they love what's on the TV screens, and they love the interaction with amongst the rest of the fans as well. So give yourselves a pat on the back for that, for making the new people feel welcome, and let's hope that they can become regulars and members of the Phoenix faithful too. Now, in those 2 games last weekend, we had Steve Fohn from the Coventry Blaze with us between the pipes, deputising magnificently for the injured Scott Funkhouser. We'll come back to Scott in a minute. But Steve Fohn stepped into the breach for the Manchester Phoenix. He iced the full 120 minutes against the Coventry Blaze and against the Cardiff Devils, I beg your pardon, and the Nottingham Panthers. He earned the win on the Saturday night and the Man of the Match award for his performance against the Devils, and he was desperately unlucky, I felt personally, to lose the game on Sunday against the Nottingham Panthers. The ice, and he has said this himself in his post-game interview, wasn't as good as it was on Saturday. The puck was bobbling around a bit, and I think privately he'll probably wish he could have another chance at certainly the Panthers' 3rd and indeed 4th goals. The 4th goal, of course, being the game winner. But no recriminations against Steve Fohn. He played marvellously. He did everything he possibly could for the Manchester Phoenix cause, and everyone connected with the club was not only grateful to the Coventry Blaze but also to Steve Fohn himself for his magnificent efforts. Now, back to Scott Funkhouser and the knee injury that he sustained in Belfast the weekend before last. Well, the good news is that the damage that Scott sustained is not as bad as first thought. Scott won't play this, or probably won't play this coming weekend against the Belfast Giants. It might just be 1 weekend too early to bring him back. He's had treatment just about every day from the physiotherapy staff, and he'll continue to have treatment right up until Sunday. But the distinct likelihood is, right at this moment in time, that Scott Funkhouser won't play on Sunday when the Belfast Giants come to the Silverblades Ice Dome. We've already talked with the Coventry Blaze. Steve Fohn will join us again this coming Sunday, just in case Scott is unable to play. The Coventry Blaze, ironically enough, are in Belfast on Saturday night, so whilst he probably won't play against them, Trevor Koenig will get the start for the Blaze against the Giants, then Stephen Fohn will be on the Blaze bench and will be able to take some mental notes of what to expect from the Giants forwards should he indeed start for the Phoenix on Sunday night in Altrincham. And if he gets anything like the reaction and reception he got from you guys out there last weekend, then he'll do just fine for us again. Fantastic support for young Steve Fohn, and it was very, very pleasing to hear that. And I know, speaking to him personally after the game, that he was genuinely moved by the support he received from the Phoenix supporters. So well done indeed to everybody. Now, also on Sunday night, everyone who was there will remember that Tony Hand reached his 1,000th league game. I must stress that's league game. Take out all the cups, or if you add in the cups rather, then he's somewhere up around the 1,400 mark in games played in what it can only be described as a stellar career. And Tony actually didn't know going into the game that, or he knew very, very shortly before the game, that it was his 1,000th regular league season game. And he too was equally moved by the presentation of the specially commissioned shirt and the bottle of champagne, and indeed the reaction not only from Phoenix fans but from the Panthers fans and Panthers players as well, with the ovation he got. So another memorable milestone in the stellar career of Tony Hand, MBE. Now, looking forward to the weekend, and of course we've already mentioned just the one game this weekend for the Manchester Phoenix, the visit of the high-flying Belfast Giants. The Giants, who were on something like a 15-game winning streak, but they're at home on Saturday night in the Odyssey Arena against the top of the table, Coventry Blaze. Coventry, of course, who lost both their games last weekend. Maybe there's just a bit of a jitter there within the Blaze camp. They were heavily beaten in Nottingham 6-2 and then dropped valuable points at home to a somewhat resurgent Mobilex Vipers on Sunday when they went down 4-3 on home ice. So a huge game for the Coventry Blaze and indeed the Belfast Giants on Saturday, and just maybe they'll beat each other up a little bit, and that might just play into the hands of the Manchester Phoenix on Sunday when the Giants fly in to take us on in the Altrincham Ice Dome. And you could say, looking at the form book with the recent run that the Giants have been on, that it's something of a David and Goliath matchup on Sunday night. Giants high flying, second in the table on a tremendous winning streak. Phoenix, you know, win one, lose one, but we're still hanging in there in 7th place and battling for 6th. And like I said, you could relate it to a David and Goliath battle. And if you know your biblical history, you all know what happened when that little encounter went on all those years ago. Goliath was the hot favourite. Didn't make it though, did he? So let's hope that the Phoenix can do a similar number on the Belfast Giants on Sunday night. And an added bonus for Phoenix fans on Sunday, this game will be televised for Sky TV. So we'll have the dulcet tones of Dave Sims in the building again and Nick Rothwell as the commentary team on behalf of Sky Sports. So a big turnout in the Altrincham Ice Dome to show the television audience what ice hockey in Manchester is all about. Well, that would be appreciated as well. Just going back to Sky, Sky have reported recently that the viewing figures now for their ice hockey show are now regularly touching 6 figures. That's 100,000 viewers. That is good news indeed for the sport and for the league, and you know, everybody who comes to those games, everybody who tunes into Sky Television. Well, that's a great effort on everybody's behalf to further promote ice hockey within Great Britain and in particular in the television broadcasting community. Now, last weekend there was junior action as well for the Manchester Phoenix. Juniors in the shape of the under-14s, not quite so juniors in the shape of the ENL team, but 2 valuable wins for the teams on the weekend. The ENL side went to Grimsby and came away with an 8-2 victory, so well done to the ENL team. And for the under-14s, a huge sigh of relief. They have at last broken their duck with their first win of the season. And what a win. The reports we had from their game over on Humberside last Sunday, well, it just sounded like an absolute epic game, and the reports from that game are now available on the website. But a tremendous well done to the under-14s team, a real nail-biter of a game. It went this way and that way and this way and that way, but the under-14s came out on top, and they're at home this coming Saturday when the Phoenix aren't playing, of course. No road game for the Phoenix this weekend, for the senior team that is. So if you've got a couple of hours to spare on Saturday afternoon, get down to the arena and give the under-14s a cheer, because they're taking on Kingston again. It was Kingston they beat last week in Humberside. Kingston, the visitors to Altrincham.